Hello everyone, my name is ToolSin. Welcome to the cnft.tools Discord server, and I'm joined by Jinx from the upcoming NFT project Cardano Casino. I say it's an NFT project, looks like there's a whole lot more which we're going to find out about, so if you'd like to introduce yourself and we can go from there.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Arash. I go by Jinx in the Discord and CNFT space. I am the founder of Cardano Casino, and yeah, I don't know. Whenever we are ready, I can just dive into the to tell you a little bit about the project.
Yeah. Give us the little 20-30 second intro.
Sure. So to tell you like in a quick, basically like in a quick way, Casino is going to be a collection of NFTs. But basically we just want to build an on-chain like a transparent solution for everybody to be able to uh, place bets, gamble, do peer-to-peer betting if that's something what you like. And basically like participate in lotteries, NFT bidding and giveaways and such. But we would be doing it through, obviously collections. Also try to make it fun by integrating into the metaverse. So later on, you having the metaverse characters entering metaverse casinos, and hopefully us being able to integrate these slot machine games and poker games in the metaverse so you can interact with others there.
Very nice, very nice. So, how long has the project been in development for?
So we came up with the idea in October of 2021. But as you know, the progress that projects make has been like crazy. I mean, we are in a tech sector in a sense. I know it's NFTs, but it's the technology sector. You started with, NFTs having like basically like no value, just being PFPs. And now, people are looking for a whole lot of utility, especially with the times that we are in. We are in a bear market. So, it's important people care about, their hard-earned money. There's not a whole lot of hype for you to just mint projects and flip. So it's important for you to have like basically like have a value.
Yeah.
So we just had to develop it during that whole time. And honestly, I think one problem is the fact that we are called Cardano Casino, so automatically gives you a vibe of like gambling, and you automatically may be like, I'm not interested. But there's a whole lot of other aspects that play into it that I can go into details about, and we just really wanted to not give that gambling vibe alone. So our team was small, and unfortunately, like we had some troubles with the marketing part. Our marketing team, actually the person was like really busy and he finally parted ways with us. So actually we were looking for a new marketer, and we were not like super engaged with the community because we were in the background like really building the stuff and getting stuff ready. So there was like really not too much incentive for you to really engage. So that kept us a little back, a little behind from like getting that hype. But right now, actually, we have this finished designing some really cool things that the community is going to see soon, that really encourages you to basically like engage and really get the word out there. And of course, for us to schedule AMAs such as this to be able to really communicate the idea behind the project so you don't think it's just gambling. So we think if all that gets communicated, we should be good.
Nice. So, may as well start off with some of the important details, at least as far as your NFT drop that's coming up.
Of course.
When, what sort of like when, how much?
So actually, originally we were scheduled for July, as you're aware, but we had to push it to August. But unfortunately, actually, the minting service that we are working with is CCCs. They just told us that they got to go through an upgrade for their minting service. So most likely we're gonna have to push it back again, which I'll have to work with you. But we are thinking at this point it's gonna be early September. The collection is ready. Everything is like good to go. At this point, it's just basically like the minting service that we have to just make sure, with the upgrades coming to Vasil upgrades and everything like that. They're preparing, so there's a little bit of uncertainty. So just because of that, they told us just recently, like yesterday, that those
Oh wow.
days are not going to be possible. So we're going to have to switch it to early September. But that also gives us a little bit of time because again, we have designed some other assets and small collections that will come out that are actually just to again encourage the community to engage. We'll announce it soon. I just can't yet, but you'll see it like very soon. So
I'm
which
sure I'll get
encourages
some
us to
hints out of
actually
you.
grow. Yeah, so basically like there's gonna be like trophies, but those trophies will be for holders. So later on, it's gonna be one of the incentives for you to hold, plus so many other things that are there. But also there's gonna be these CC badges that you actually can gain through our XP system. and they will have like basically like you can redeem them for whitelists and lotteries and things of that nature, and they will come in different tiers. So when and after some time you have to turn it into us, basically like you burn them and you have to earn them again so we can create a new one. And some of them you can actually specialize them so you can request for certain things to be on it. So that should technically incentivize you to interact with us a lot more. So that gives us some time, about a month to build the community and really get them to engage until the collection releases too.
Nice. So, just to do a little bit more background before we jump into all the juicy stuff, what brought you to Cardano and blockchain technology in the first place?
Honestly, it's been a few years that I've been looking for an op. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, my degree is actually in business and accounting, and my dad was able to have two successful businesses. I'm originally born in Iran, so his businesses were originally located in Iran. So there was always kind of that drive for me to try to find the next opportunity to, in a sense, like prove myself, obviously to my dad, and also be able to make something happen in the world that I can be like, I made an impact. So I just wasn't really able to find really anything too unique in the past few years. But when I came around, like, crypto in around end of 2020 and obviously early 2021, I got into Cardano. After I did all my research, I really thought, obviously, this space is so early in this space that it gives you that opportunity to, like, a little bit be able to kind of get that opportunity to build and also like give value to people. It's not too late that all the big companies are, have already jumped in and they
Yeah.
basically have every right and they figured everything out. And so you're, basically like get forgotten. So I thought this was like the best opportunity, and obviously Cardano. I think the ecosystem, the community is like really strong. I think the solutions, everything that you can build on it is going to be really cheap, and because of obviously the transactions. So we think, and obviously they do take their time, but I think it's for the better because as we are seeing, like a lot of other chains, Solana recently and some other chains are experiencing some issues which we are not seeing with Cardano yet. And I know again it's newer, but it's good to see that, and it's good to see that these guys are taking the time to make sure we are safe. But that's basically why we are on Cardano, and I chose Cardano because again the opportunities available here and the fact that we believe it's the best chain.
Nice. So, what was the first CNFT that you minted then?
Um, actually, I forgot, but I think it's called tribbles, something like that. It was like
Tribbles?
these, like almost like they're these like bird faces and stuff like that. I think it was like in August of 2021, somewhere around there. But
Yeah,
then
it's
after
not.
that,
It's not
obviously, I
one
got
that's.
into
It's not one that triggers my memory actually. So
yeah, it was one of the first ones that I'd seen, and I just wanted to like mint one or two because I thought they were cool. But then after that, when I started doing some research, I think Baby Alien Club
nice.
was
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely minted a few of those. Um, then there was like a few other projects that I minted. Oh, there was I forget the name. Those birds. I think it's Kenneth that made them.
Dirt
The
birds.
3D ones. Yep. No, not dirt birds. The 3D ones, the story driven. I don't know
Oh,
why I forget.
block owls.
Block owls. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
the first set of those, I actually
Yeah,
minted a bunch of
I was
those.
gutted to miss that mint actually. Like I tried and it didn't happen.
Yeah. So those were like the other mints, and then actually I took a break to be honest with you for a few months. Started working on this project, then came back in. BCRC had a lot of hype, so got involved in that, and I got lucky. Got some D5 land, was a really good profit, and honestly, since after that, just bought into a few other projects and really focused on our own. And
Nice.
since then, I haven't really been making too many purchases. Probably like just the jelly cubes as of recent
Very
that I'm
nice.
holding.
But yeah, I mean, it's good to show that you got links sort of like within the community in like different areas of the community and stuff like that. It's the
Yeah, definitely. I've been
Cardano
involved.
community really appreciates the people that take the time to be a part of the community and aren't just coming in saying, "Well, here you go, have this. I want your money," and then I'm gonna fuck off.
Oh no, 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 definitely. I have like I've there's a lot of projects that I have respect for. So like I hold like one or two like lazy llamas. I have like Ape Society assets. I have like virtual assets. So it's like little stuff here and there, and it's a lot of projects that I have, but it's just they're in many different wallets, and I'm sure like people don't want me to sit here and name all the assets. But yeah,
No, no.
I'm definitely involved in many projects.
Cool. So, getting back to Cardano Casino, obviously you have your NFT mint coming up. Um, obviously, we'll get another date for that soon. So, what's the design of the NFTs that you're going to be dropping? Is it like PFP based, or is it more sort of like something else?
Yeah, so these are like this design was actually a little hard because actually if you look at it, it's like a full body, usually the other projects, you don't really see that. So for us, it was a full body, so it was a little challenging on top of the fact that these are actual like casino chips that are turned into like, chippy designs. So it
Nice.
was a little challenging, but that will be our first collection. The collection was set to be like 5,000, but due to the market conditions and obviously, the hype that we need behind the project, and we want to make sure it's successful also in the secondary and long term, and we decide to lower it to 2,500 for the time being. But it's going to be season one and season two, so the collection will max at 5,000. After that, you will have the slot machines. They're going to be in 3D. They're already being designed, and they will come in two parts. You do need matching parts. They are going to have designs from our partners, and obviously other cool designs that we'll have, and you have to have the matching sets to be able to basically like mint that, and you can place those later on in our metaverse casinos for a passive income play. And in the meantime, you would be able to stake them and earn our tokens while that's happening. Also, you would be able to stake the chippies, but there will be some requirements for these chippies, such as like when you mint the season one, by holding so many, you do get whitelist for the season two mint, and so on for them. When the slot machine collection comes on, you would have to be holding so many to get the whitelist and be able to mint them at a cheaper price. So there will be incentives as such as that. As soon as the collection drops, obviously we would start the tournaments, weekly and monthly tournaments that will have these NFTs that will purchase that are again tier based that you can participate in. So while you're waiting for some development to happen, those things will get started, and plus all the trophies and things of that nature that we'll have too. But then after that, it's just going to be basically like the metaverse land purchase for us. We do have interior designers that will get started on, basically like designing that. And as far as the platform, we do have a team on the side that's ready to start designing the platform. We just want to make sure the project gets, the attention that it needs, because the platforms, as you guys know, it's not very cheap. So
No.
for us to, get started on that and actually get everything going, we want to make sure, we do have to support the messages, communicated correctly. There is opportunities for us to also partner with some other projects. So we are looking into those too, because again, for us, the idea is really to give back to other CNFT projects and give them some value too for their holders for all the hard work they're doing as well. So we will have our Vox collection, for example, that comes out that allows you entry to the metaverse. So for example, for that, we'll be working with DDC, Vox Society, other projects to be able to develop that and drop that for everybody. So that will give value to those projects as well. And again, if it comes to the platform too, there's a couple projects that are trying to build the platform. So if you see something that's we have mutual interest, we can make sure our holders, in a sense, can benefit from it for a long time. There wouldn't be any issues in the future. We would look at into doing that too. If not, obviously we'll have our own platform.
Nice. So I'm not sure if you said, but did you say how much the mint price was going to be for
Oh,
season
sorry
one?
about that. Yes. So the mint price is going to be 50 ADA for whitelist and OG. Obviously, there's going to be tiers. So whitelist can mint one. We have our OG tier that can mint two. Double OG can mint, I think it's three. And then we have triple OG that can mint up to five at that price. And then, and then after that, you will have, the public. Public is not too much higher. It's just about 60 ADA. We are looking for our season two. Obviously, if we have strong holders, not too many paper handlers, we are looking that for the floor to go up so we can release the season two at higher prices. That would help us and obviously the holders too, because that means there's going to be more money available in the project. With the first one, the idea is really to just get things started and show the community that we are here to build and we are here to stay, and not ask for too much money where everybody's like, oh my God, they got 500,000 ADA or whatever, they could disappear. We
Yeah.
just want to get low money, get things started, plus all the money that we have, actually the funding that comes from us, get things started so you can see actually, oh, they're building, give value to the project. And as we grow, again, hopefully these chippies are more valued, and then that gives us opportunity for the second season to, sell these at higher prices and such.
Nice. So are those prices somewhat set in stone? Just whether ADA, the price of ADA goes up or down?
Honestly, these prices were that from the very beginning because again, we do have some money and backing that does come from me personally. So we are not super, crazy about the project and the money that brings in like initially. But of course, as it gets bigger, because there's so many sectors that we are trying to do. Again, there's like a poker platform, you have the NFT bidding, you have all these other things, and metaverse plays and such. We do need obviously money for that. So it's just a matter of, when project grows, we can have successful seasons and drops for the rest of the project
Yeah.
success.
So is Donnelly part of the team by any chance? So I've got somebody asking to speak as well.
He's not part of our team, but he might have a
Okay,
question.
well, if you give us a bit, Donnelly, we'll certainly get you the chance to have any of your questions answered. If you'd like to post them in NFT chat, I'm monitoring. Yeah, I see a couple of questions popping up already, and we'll get to them fairly shortly. So, how many people do you have on the team?
So at the moment, so there was a team of six. At the moment, we are down to four. Just because for the minting service, we did have like a minting dev, but now we are using the CCC's like minting service, so there was no need for that. Also, we did have like again one marketer that was like really busy, so he decided to step down. We do have another marketer at the moment, and we are looking to hire at least like one or two more. We were looking actually to have a group represent us for marketing. So we are like trying to see how that goes. If obviously they have a lot of influence, so if we can make that happen, it would be very beneficial for us. But if not, it's just a matter of like searching for a little bit for us to find some basically like members that are trustworthy and are known within the community. Um, but as soon as we get that, other than that, we have two artists at the moment and myself. Again, we do have a team of between 6 to 12. I live in California, so I'm really close to San Francisco. So I already made some connections as far as like the platform, being built, and basically like for the creation of that, there is a team of 6 and 12 that's on the side that as soon as we get that started, they'll technically be added to us. And again, for example, for these Vox collections and things of that nature that are coming up, and we work with other projects, obviously in a sense, more team members are added and then deducted, when works are needed.
Cool. So, I mean, it sounds like you've got a whole ton of work coming ahead of you.
Yeah.
So, you said that you're planning on doing slots, which will be mintable and then usable for passive income. I assume
Right.
that's people wandering into casinos in the metaverse and trying their luck.
Yeah, so as far as I know, when we talk about those things, legalities do become an issue, especially when you have, people in the United States. But
Yeah.
so the way it's gonna work actually is like we're gonna have our tokens that, again, during the time that you're waiting for that metaverse, because part of it is, obviously these metaverses being interactable and us being able to, apply that and basically like build everything there. But while you're playing, you would be stacking these tokens that you're earning from us. Now, these tokens can later on be used on the platform, and you would exchange them for these in-game tokens. And you would use those in-game tokens to do your, NFT bidding, again, participate in poker tourneys, roulette, any other games, slot machine games or slot games, whatever the case may be. And then after that, you would turn it back into our tokens and then into ADA, and that's how you would basically like have your income. So because in that case you're interacting with DEXs and it's decentralized, everybody's safe
Yeah.
for the time being, unless obviously, ADA itself is considered a security, then we are all screwed anyways.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of regulatory issues around even just crypto, let alone gambling and crypto combined.
Exactly. So obviously the other part of it is the country. So we do have two countries that this will be the we would be registering it from. At the moment, we do not have the license. It's very easy for us. I want to say very easy. I mean, it's going to take a few months for the process, but we already have a legal team that's already looked into it. If you even go on our website right now, there's two basically like legal frames that's been already set for the NFTs and then later on for the platform when it comes up. So, as far as legalities, everything's already out there. You're, more than welcome to go study it. And if there's anything, you guys can always ask us. Um,
Yeah,
but
because
this,
I was planning on asking definitely a few questions about regulation, regulatory requirements and stuff like that. Whether you're
yeah,
going to
so
be
everything that you see
registering
for
in
our
Malta and
tokenomics.
stuff like that, and
Exactly. So everything that you see for our tokenomics and everything like that is, been reviewed, but some of the things are not finalized, like such as our tokenomics, like, the percentages, and exactly like how many years it would take for us to release it all. That still will be reviewed and finalized, before that goes through, but that's like still a few months out for us. So like, again, for a project that hasn't even released yet, it's a little hard for us to try to, release all those details, but there's definitely a team in the background that has worked all that out, and when everything is like said and done, we will be able to release all the information too, but we would be able to get that also like license and stuff as well. It's just that, again, as you know, it's costly right now, and the thing is,
yeah,
like, if you do acquire that right now, we don't really have a working platform, you don't really have that metaverse play yet, so
yeah.
we're just spending like the project's money, and that would be in dollars, and with ADA being down, it's not very, the
No,
best play.
it's yeah. I mean,
So we
there's
are
no
just
point in
paying
being
for a license.
licensed 2 years
Exactly.
before you
So
release. That's for
although we
sure.
want to give that comfort to people that, oh, here's the license, but it's like we are also wasting the money of the project that those people are investing in, because again, there's no use for it. So we
Yeah.
just want to make sure it's the right time.
I mean, how much do those licenses cost in like hard cash these days? I mean,
Uh, if you're being honest with you, we're thinking of like leveling it up because we're thinking of having like a year one, and then obviously you need it to like take off year two, year three as it grows, and you have that more mass audience. But basically, like if you were to get a license from Malta, which would be like very credible, it's gonna be like always
sorry.
gonna cost you. But
Sorry, I played poker for online for many years, and I don't see Malta as being that credible.
oh, Malta is not, because from what we have looked in, they're one of the most credible, like for at least like when it comes to online gambling. Like they're actually one of the hardest to get, and they're the most expensive.
Really?
Because yeah, because you have like like there's other countries that are easier to get, like like for gambling and especially like crypto combined, like there's like you can go to like Costa Rica, right? But
Yeah.
Costa Rica, it could get very tricky because they don't have like regulations at all, and all of a sudden you can face certain things. But like Malta actually works with like there's like a lot of actually gaming companies that are from there too,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
have been
There's a reason why a lot of gaming companies go there.
right, but again,
I don't think the regulators ruled against a single gambling operator ever in its entire life, or even
yeah.
said, "Hello, I think you've done something wrong."
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So there's like several countries that you can start the operation from, right? And then obviously, like again, even in crypto, there's some gray areas. So like we have to see like what each country's approach is towards the regulations, how they see crypto, and then after that, we would have to take some of the next steps. But at least for now, for us to be safe, there's only like like two, three countries that don't have like too many regulations as far as both things combined.
Yeah.
But obviously, after we level it up, and certain parts of the platform would be available to certain countries. But obviously, like when we level it up, and it comes to like fantasy sports part of it, like NFL fantasy part, like even in the United States, there's some licenses you can get, and that's like legal. So when
Yeah,
it
for sure.
expands to those sort of things, we can look.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, sort of like I've heard you mention poker a couple of times. Is that something that you're going to be designing yourself from the ground up, or are you going to be taking like a white skin and then incorporating that?
Yeah, so we were looking at initially like creating ourselves, and that could still be the plan, but we are seeing, there's multiple other projects that are potentially trying to do the same thing. So we're gonna actually look into, again, like we're gonna see if there is a project that we can have a mutual interest in, and actually try to take care of that portion of the project with them and give them a value as well. I mean, there's a couple projects already. You have like Spacebugs Poker Club, but I mean, I'm not like too certain exactly like what their plan is. Maybe when we know in more detail, like as far as like the platform, if they're building it, maybe there's something there. I know CCC, Cardano Crocs Club, they're the OGs in a sense. They started this whole poker theme being played in Discords and stuff like that. And obviously they have their platform coming up. So we can definitely see if there's something there that both parties can agree in, and if not, then obviously, we would immediately get started on designing our own, or basically like building on.
Yeah. So, what kind of stakes do you imagine that are going to be played in the various different games? Whether it's slots or blackjack or poker or whatever.
Are you asking like how much we think people are gonna play?
Like sort of like are you going to be providing slots with that the equivalent like $1 a spin or $200 a spin and
Yeah, so that would be based on our token. So like we would have like basically different sets of limits. But to be honest with you, we were trying to figure out a system because as you know, gambling could become an issue. So we're gonna have like these systems in the background where we see like if certain wallets or certain accounts are doing a certain amount of bets, it doesn't matter if they're winning or losing. We would put like certain limitations on those. So we would like lower in a sense like how much they can bet.
okay. So you're going to be actively working to identify problem gamblers and then offer some kind of support and help and restrictions if they
Yeah,
need it.
because since everything is on the blockchain, I mean that's the main thing for us because we think like in the future, I mean, I know it may seem like a little out of line or out of vision right now, but we are thinking of a future, when crypto becomes more mainstream, you're gonna have like MGM casinos, like these main casinos, try to actually enter the metaverse and hopefully have like a reward system because like at least for me right now, when you want to go to MGM casinos or whatever, you go there, you play the casino games, you earn some sort of rewards or points, and then you can get a free stay at the hotel or
Yeah.
free credits for food or whatever. How about if you did that like actually in the metaverse? There's a way for us to identify your wallet and everything, your identity, and you enter. You actually gamble, play beforehand. If you're feeling like at home, you're traveling, you can do that, earn your rewards, and then you book your stay. You don't have to necessarily go there, earn it for the next time. Because, I see that like a lot of my friends were doing that. They feel like they have to stay there and play the whole time because, I got to earn, money and credit for the next
Yeah.
time, like.
Yeah, got to
So,
pay for me room, like.
yeah. So then later on, imagine if you can just do that like remotely. Like by just being in the metaverse, you can still interact with people and things of that nature. So you can still get that feel, but also get the play and do that. Like you could actually build a reward system. So we think these guys could enter, and there could be like real life, utility and plays for us as well that we can add to it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's always going to be room for prizes involving trips to Vegas or Macau or whatever gambling center you prefer.
Of course.
So, how long do you expect it to be before you get to the stage where you're actually able to offer games of any type?
So I think for us, as far as that, if we don't come into agreement with another project that, is gonna obviously make it happen faster, because as you know, again, there's one or two projects that could potentially make it happen this year, then for us it would be early 2023. So probably in the first quarter of 2023, we'll start testing it, most likely like release it, and then continuously you'll see the other sectors of it being added. But most likely by the end of 2023, we are hoping that as far as like all the card games should be functional, and then for our NFT bidding, the tiers for you to put the bids and lotteries and things of that nature for it to be functional, so you can use our tokens and enter these different tier-based like NFT bids and such.
Okay, like you've said a little bit about NFT bidding. Sort of like, is that going to be like an auction service that you're going to run for people, or is that going to be something more close to sort of like giveaways?
So basically, it would be from like we're going to use some of the money from the royalties and stuff that comes back to us for rewards and tournaments too. Plus, some of the other money from the project that we are going to put towards that. And we would basically like put a voting up, and people would vote on projects, and we would put them in tiers. So, like for example, you would have diamond tier, platinum tier, gold tier, and maybe like a silver tier. And we would purchase like let's say space buds diamond tier, we would purchase one, and then it's available on the platform for that week or that day, daily, weekly, whatever the case may be. And people can enter, let's say, the amount that you have to pay in tokens to enter for that one, maybe more. So let's say, for example, you pay 100 tokens to enter into that. Then you have the platinum tier. level, it's 75 for that per entry, and then you have the gold level tier is 50 for that, and then you would just based on the amount of tokens you've accumulated and how many entries you would want to get, you can bid on those or get entries. Again, if it's bidding, you can do the bidding. If it's the lottery system, you can just get entries, and after that, like obviously for lottery it would be a random winner. For the bidding, it would be the highest bid.
Okay, that's yeah, very cool. So, how much workers does it take to do all this? Because obviously, I mean, you've got like teams here, teams there, and teams everywhere by the sound of it, between legal and art and everything like that.
Honestly, we think the biggest part of it is going to be the platform. As far as the art of we have like Mac, he's very talented, and we do have two other three people that can get added. And also, like I said, when we have like Vox collections, when it comes to designing, these metaverses, we have other members that can get added, and that doesn't take too long. And the problem with that is like part of it is also waiting for the metaverses to be functional. For the most part, we want to do that part of it and get people ready, get their assets ready for them, and then really after that focus on the platform while we wait for the metaverse. Because if at some point, that metaverse part becomes available, then obviously already people have their assets, they can at least interact. And at that point, it's just be a matter of us integrating these platforms and games into, basically like the metaverse aspect or area where you can interact with it. But we think the platform is going to be the toughest part. Again, we want one bigger part of it that I haven't talked about, but also, again, a few other projects may try to do or already doing is peer-to-peer betting. So right now you have like trading tent where you can do peer-to-peer, exchanges.
Yeah,
If you can do peer-to-peer betting where, you can just get on with a friend. Again, if we wouldn't really be involved, we would just take, like a small fee.
yeah,
But you can get on with your friend and you guys want to bet on sports games, whatever it may be. You can put up an NFT with some ADA, whatever. Again, you got your guys' agreement is you guys put it
yeah.
up, sign it, put it on a smart contract. It goes and sits in a wallet. When the results are in, you would basically like the winner would get the winnings. So that's another
Very
thing that we
nice.
can work on. So there's like, different things. We just have to see like which one is like priority to the community. We really think, at least getting that poker platform out and a couple of card games is going to be super necessary. So, people have
Yeah.
already utility to interact with. And then we can kind of explore these other sectors. But we do think that peer-to-peer betting could really come in handy for some people that again want to just do something with their own, not really interact with any service or gambling and just kind of have some fun.
Yeah, I
So
mean
that may be the part.
the GUI must be quite complicated for that when you think about it, because it's fair enough betting on sports games, but there's a whole lot of games out there that you'd need to be able to input
Yeah, so we
into a
have to
smart
see
contract, whether it's cricket, football, rugby, or who can fly the highest balloon, or
exactly. So we have to, basically like release it in small sections, and also we are thinking of like, trying to enable you to do bidding on such as I know there's a lot of projects saying that right now, but again, like there you have like equine. There's gonna be like again other games that are being built here too. It could be like fighting games, sports games, racing, car racing games. We are seeing a few of those. So there could be plays like that in the metaverse too that people that are involved here can bet on and such too.
yeah,
So
I can definitely see sort of like Cardano Casino having an equine booth, for instance, where you can go in and sort of like almost have that as a bridge over into equine, and another way of betting and gambling on equine, for instance.
exactly. But honestly, to be honest with you, the ultimate goal for us, which we think it's going to be a few years out, probably like by the next bull run, but like the long-term play here for us would be that we get everything down and you have like these metaverse like casinos that can be like built by us, and basically like there would be a platform that can be either backed by our partner, as far as like the software and development, or us, and we can build these casinos on your plots later on. So that could be another part of it that we can, kind of get into. Like, yes, we have our own branding, we have our own casinos, but some people may want to have their own casinos and be more profitable. So maybe we can build it for them, put in the software, and have like ongoing subscription fees and monthly
Yeah,
fees from them. And they have their own casinos, they operate it. It's up to them how they want to manage it to certain degrees, because obviously that some part of licensing again could come from us just to give them that umbrella and protection. But obviously that would mean they have our branding and again the fees, stuff like that. But again, it's just a business part of it. But if you get to that level, there's something like that at play too. So.
Yeah. So some probably slightly dirty questions.
Yeah.
Well, not dirty, harder questions. I mean, we mentioned a little bit a minute ago about sort of like responsible gaming and things like that. What kind of plans do you have to limit people? If I mean, is there going to be like an opt out of like I'm a problem gambler. I shouldn't be allowed to gamble, and I'm saying this now, so I'm not allowed to gamble. Is there going to be that kind of opt out? Or is it
No, not.
because it's sort of like the very nature of everything being decentralized and at least semi-anonymous, is that kind of impossible?
Yeah, so I think again for us to get to that part where legally everything is like possible and US customers can interact with it, you will have to do some sort of KYC. What that means is like we can actually work with another like basically like project and create some wallet, basically create a wallet for you that you can identify. You would have to like identify who you are. There would be
Yeah.
some sort of self-identification. And by doing so, we can actually, because again, we have to make sure you're of age too. So
Yes.
by
Yes.
you
Yes. Of
basically
course.
like doing that, we can verify that you're of age, and that is basically like your wallet, and that's how you're entering and interacting with it. And then obviously the second part would be that when you do interact through that wallet, now we do know your identity and such, but also again, everything's tracked on the blockchain too. So we can actually see what kind of bets you're putting in. Again, it doesn't matter if you're winning or losing. So it's not gonna be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
this person is like winning, so let's cut them off. Even if you're like losing, hard, like you're gonna like basically see the patterns and like stop you. And like stopping it doesn't mean like, oh, we're gonna just cut you off and be like, okay, you're not allowed to interact with the platform. Like it's gonna start with like periods, like for 1 week, your
Like
limitations
cooling off.
go down to a certain amount, whatever the case may be. And obviously, if you go back to the same habits, we cut you down even more, and like we keep it for longer terms. And then that way, you just have certain limitations. Now, obviously, again, you could dig into, you getting a different wallets and trying to, buy and hold chippies and try to identify, basically like
Yeah.
create a new wallet and do the same thing. But I'm sure at some point, we would be able to catch up to that too, like it's just like creating multiple discords and such. Like obviously, we would try to do our best to catch things like.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of questions that a lot of regulators are going to be asking. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because obviously, there's different restrictions in each country. America is 21 for drinking, and England's 18 for gambling and everything like that. So it's
Right. And then you may actually like for the platform, you may see like these IP, obviously bans and things of that nature that we can put in place that would obviously uh, go with, the country that you're in. So if you're not supposed to interact with it or if there's certain requirements, you have to meet those.
yeah,
But,
for sure.
it's still somewhat out for us. So.
So it's not often I get 40 minutes into an AMA before really discussing the art, but I think we should sort of like go back there a little bit and talk a little bit more about it. So, I mean, how many different traits do you have? Because obviously there's going to be what 5,000 in total. So,
Um,
sort of like, and how many different trait types do you have?
Yeah, actually, there's honestly like a lot of traits. I don't know if he's like actually. I see him in the audience listening. Mac. I don't know if he can request and you can bring him up. He's the
I
artist.
can definitely
There's
do
about
that.
180 plus, but I don't know if he just wants to talk about it, himself maybe. So we can have him talk. But if not, I can continue.
Uh, I think Discord. Oh, there we go. Invite to speak. Right, he has the chance to speak. So we shall
Okay,
see if he
let's see
pops
if he
up.
wants
There he
to.
is.
Whoops. Hey, ToolSin, nice meeting you.
Hello there. How you doing?
Hey, doing fine. It's 7 a.m. here, like we're doing an all-nighter.
Ooh, yeah, that's brutal.
So yeah,
Yeah, Mac is in
so
Malaysia, so that's why.
That
yeah,
yeah,
that's
that'll do
why.
it. Yeah, thanks for getting up early, or well,
Yeah,
staying up, I should
yeah,
say.
sure, no problem. I gotta support my partner here, like Jinx, eh?
So
Right.
tell
So
us a bit more about the art. Sort of like how many different trait types do you have, and sort of like and how many different traits?
honestly, there's gonna be if we were to talk about one piece of like chippy in full, there will be 17 traits maximum. But if we were to talk about the whole collection, there should be around close to 200 traits. But I'm looking at around 180 or 190. But I haven't been counting. I'm just doing the art, pumping it out, and that I haven't been counting in total how many traits there are.
I mean,
So
yeah, I
yeah.
mean for a 5,000 mint project, sort of like 200 traits is a lot actually. Like most
Exactly.
people would do sort of like probably like 60% of that maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Because actually, some of the pieces, like for example, the chip bodies, right? You would have like values on it, so that would be some repetitive ones. For example, if it's like a red chip, and the body is gonna have like 10, 20, 50, or 100 to represent the chip value on the body, right? So
Yeah.
there's gonna be like three different colors, and based on the value, that's going to be like repetitive ones. But overall, like most of the traits we have, some are quite unique. For example, the clothes we have, the accessories on the hands, the pants they're wearing, the shoes they're wearing. Like it just keeps on going on and on. So there's quite a lot of unique traits in the collection here. I'd say.
So if you got a bunch of stuff with the different values and everything like that, does that mean there's going to be plaques as well?
What do you mean by plaques?
Oh, right. So in a sort of like in a lot of European casinos, obviously we have chips and everything like that. But
Uh
when
huh.
you move into like super high stakes or super late stages of certainly tournaments in casinos in like France and stuff like that, we have like big
Uh huh.
plaques instead of chips.
Oh,
Sort
actually,
of
we
like
do have plaques,
two or three
but
times the size of a credit card.
yeah, exactly. We actually do have the so-called plaques, but they're in form of like one-on-ones. There's gonna be like
Ah,
10 in
nice.
total. Yeah, there's gonna be 10 in total, but there's only one special one that is not a plaque, but it's instead of like a moon face. So we have like 9 plaques and like one moon boy as like in total of the one-on-ones. So that's gonna be about 10 of them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's I really like that. I mean, that does show a little attention to detail there and sort of like knowledge of the casino um, industry in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because I love
and
the
then
idea, man. Yeah. Oh,
and then
Jinx,
we can
go on.
also mention the fact too that there's that part of it, but also there's going to be rarities. We have also come up with roles that we're going to announce soon. So as these basically like chippies are going to have roles assigned to them, and these roles later on will play a role in the metaverse for you. So like for example, these one-on-ones they have their own specific roles and they get to do certain things, and so are the other ones because you're gonna actually have some metaverse extra like land that we purchase, and we're gonna give some of these basically like roles an opportunity to, in a sense, like build what they want around us, like in a sense like businesses. Because let's say if you have our metaverse casino, you're interested in having a restaurant or whatever the case may be, you can build those around us because you think you might get foot traffic, but it would be associated with you holding these chippies or these certain roles.
Oh, very nice. And so, would they be able to? They would be able to work with your artistic team to make that happen, yeah?
Yeah, so
Or
that
is
that
it
would be
something
one
they would be
aspect of it.
responsible for?
No, no, no. We would work with you, and also there's gonna be like asset creation that we do for you too, like basically like casino assets, and you would redeem, our tokens. Like basically, you would redeem them to us and request, certain assets, and we would create them for you. But also there's gonna be a rarity chart for the chippies as well, so you can obviously, when it comes to staking, you would get a certain rate of these tokens based on the rarities and how many you hold.
Nice. So, I'm assuming you're going to be doing a lot of work with other projects. Have you done much in the way of collabs so far, or is that something that's just a little bit further down the line for you at this point?
So for us right now, we have some really good collaborations. I mean, we have collaborations with Lazy Llamas. We have collaborations with Block Investment Group, Disco Solaris. Um, there's Juke Boys. There's Nifty World. We do have the Vox Society, which potentially will handle our Vox collection. And then we are a partner with Cardo Stacks. That one is a partnership that is done. We do have like a floor from them. Obviously, their metaverse is slightly different. For them, you wouldn't need a Vox character. It's more like a cards as entry. So we would build that, and obviously, if people would like to enter that and interact with it, you would get the cards. Um, but there's I think like about 12 projects that we are partnered with, and some of them are really well known. Some of them are a little newer, but also we're going to continue adding more and more
Yeah,
as
I mean,
we go on.
I've heard of all of those projects that you mentioned anyway, so
Yeah,
that's
I mean, we
generally a
also
good
have
start.
some other projects, but they're not really collaborations or partnerships. It was just more like they were nice enough to allow us to include like tributes. So you can get certain traits from those projects being Chilled Kongs and Boss Cat Rocket Club.
Nice.
Um, so we do have some tribute pieces, but it's not really a partnership or a collaboration at the moment. But obviously later on, as we do, accomplish certain things, that could change.
Cool. So, is there going to be opportunities for projects to approach you and say, "Yeah, we'd like to be involved with you guys. Maybe we'll have a Dirtbird slot machine or a Goat Tribe faces on the blackjack cards and stuff like that as well."
Yeah, so actually, if you look at it at the moment, we try to include a lot of traits from those projects in the Chippy collection. So that is going to be the same goal when it comes to the slot machines. And actually, like let's say, we are doing a collaboration with uh, Lazy Llamas. We would have multiple designs, and you would actually have to match the two parts from Lazy Llamas in order for your, 3D slot machine to be complete. So, for example, in our future collections, we'll work with them. Obviously, we do have our card collection too, but we do know, like, obviously, Space Pugs had like a huge projects with 16 projects where they did a PFP. For us, maybe we didn't want to necessarily just do a PFP, but we'll look at something that we can do with other projects when it comes down to our card collection too, but something unique and different. But that would be more like see if we are also looking at like hosting games and poker tournaments later on in the metaverse for these projects too that we are partnered with. So then later on, they don't have to really worry about, because as you know, that's become something that a lot of Discords do, host poker events and such. So when the metaverse, aspect is more known and we can actually interact with it, it gives us the opportunity to host these poker tourneys and stuff for these projects in the metaverse casinos that we have. That may
Nice.
be, something less for them to have on their plate and do, so they can focus some more on building or their other aspects of their community.
Nice. I mean, sort of like that's something you should probably talk to us as CNFT Tools about sometime after the stream. Actually, we've very recently, as in like a couple of hours ago, announced our poker buy-in bot, which allows projects to take ADA buy-ins and then play poker on Poker Now and everything like that, and have the winnings paid out automatically. And
Yeah, it's just the fact
and
that,
that's
as you know,
live
like,
now, actually.
yeah, but as you mentioned, like the ADA play, like the direct ADA thing is like would be one thing that would be an issue for us at the moment,
Yeah,
because you would be directly turning ADA into, the poker now, or, basically like the currency and back into ADA. For us, like I said, we would have to go into that third token at the moment. That's our only issue.
right.
And yeah, just for the legalities, just because I'm in the US and we want to make sure like basically US people can interact with it. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna definitely look into it, and if the legalities like allow us, or we can at least open it up or do it for certain part of our community, I would definitely be something that I would be definitely be open to it.
Yeah, I mean, ours is designed for people to have a bit of fun. We don't make any money off it
Definitely.
or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more of a facilitator until better things come along.
Exactly. Yeah.
And hopefully you
We'll
guys will be
definitely
one of the
talk
guys
about it.
providing it.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it, and also there's, again, like CCC is doing a really good job too. I think they've put a lot of time and effort into that. So again, like if there was something for us to do with them too, we can look into that. Again, there's a couple other projects that are trying to do something, so we'll see what they do too. Again, the whole idea is for all of us to grow as a whole. And sometimes, all the competition is fun. When there's like too much of it, it could result in like failure of, multiple projects. that have almost the same vision. So sometimes it might be better for all of us to work together, and just have one combined piece that's like really good. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Just wanted to make sure everybody knows if you have any questions or any comments that you wanted to make, fire them into NFT chat. I'll make sure Jinx and Matt get the chance to answer your questions. I kind of feel like we got a little bit distracted and off topic there. Mac was nice enough to join us, and we spoke about the traits for like 10 seconds and then swiftly moved on. And I think that's a little bit unfair on a guy because the little previews I've seen so far have been quite sweet, to be honest. So, I mean, how long has it taken you to do all these, Mac?
Yeah, in terms of the art, like I would say about 2 months, because actually I was like working with a couple of projects, so like here and there, it takes
Yeah.
some time. So for Cardano Casino specifically, I would say about 2 months, more or less.
Yeah, I mean that's 2 months is still a whole bunch of hours, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, no, like, does anybody in crypto work a 40-hour week these days?
I don't know, honestly.
I mean,
Like,
I think I do like 100.
but oh geez, like I mean, like actually doing the art is kind of like the fun part of like being in the CNFT space. Like you get to meet all these people, first of all, and like when they like the art and you feel the same, you feel connected in a way. So to
Yeah,
me, like doing the art, it's kind of like connecting to the people. When they like it, and then you get to strike a conversation and things just keeps going. So it's part of a job and it's part of my passion and it's part of the way of me to connect to the people. So I really love what I'm doing right now.
Ooh, sorry.
Oh,
So
did I got disconnected there?
no, I was just coughing. Too many
I
years of
see, I see.
smoking, unfortunately.
Yeah, all good, all good.
So, is there
So
any big things that I've not touched on yet? Because I mean, you guys seem to have so much going on. It's kind of hard to keep track of where I've been, where I haven't been yet.
I gotta ask Jinx about it though. Like he has all the things there. Jinx.
No, I think honestly, like actually, like we don't want to confuse people too much, but I would say like just focus on the, first season and second season of the chippies. The first few things for us is just to get the basics, just like every other project, set up. We already have our pieces that we have purchased for, with Mutant DAO, for us to be able to do our staking. We do have the 3 additional ones that are needed for their lottery system later on. So hopefully when we can get that up and running, our lottery system staking would be up through them. Those would be the first few steps. After that, Mac is going to release the 3D slot machines. Again, we would have these 3D trophies and things of that nature, which we'll announce soon as far as like what they are and what their benefits are. But those are the first few things for us. And then after that, probably like jumping into the metaverse aspect a little bit. And, again, as soon as the collection drops, the priority becomes the priority is the platform for us. So we
Yeah.
have to figure out how that goes. So we can make some, official announcements regarding that and figure out the rest as we go. Not necessarily figure it out, but, like plan it out better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, when a lot of stuff is quote unquote metaverse dependent, and we don't have a metaverse yet, there's only so much you can do.
Exactly. So part of it is that, and then, like I said, part of it is also the challenges too. It's kind of easy to say, hey, you're gonna have to build a, you're gonna build a platform, but I mean, all the details of it. It's not that easy. It's gonna have to happen. Writing all these codes and stuff like that using, you know, like basically like the programming here on Cardano. So it's not like just something that's already out there and you can just like quickly copy and paste and be like, okay, here it is. Obviously, security aspects of it are going to be huge. You're seeing a lot of hacks recently. If this is something that becomes successful, you're going to see a lot of money in it and involved. So you want to make sure,
Yeah,
it's safe. There's no security holes and stuff like that so people can exploit it and things of that nature. So there's going to have to be a lot of testing and potential, a couple potential hiccups and delays that may come along the way too. So there's those things that we have to be aware of and plan for it.
yeah. I mean, how many members of your team have had direct experience in building casino type games?
So I would say like from that team, two or three of them have. The other two have built like marketplaces, and there's also one that has like specifically worked with basically like the Cardano atmosphere. Um, but the rest of them not really. But obviously he would be able to help them out.
Yeah, and
That's for the team of six that's nearby me. But obviously if you work with another project, I don't know yet. They may have a lot more.
yeah. And I mean, another question that I'm sure is going to come up at some point is, do you have any plans for independent auditing of your games so you can prove that they are what you say they are?
Yeah, so that
As in
would be
like,
that.
payout percentages and things like that.
Of course, so that would be part of it, but also, again, we think by it being on the blockchain, it gives us, let's say, for example, when you have the slot games out, right? You can
Yeah,
see these percentages, and that's actually one of the reasons as to why I came into this, because I have a friend who plays, and he thinks obviously the system is like really unfair because casinos play you, and you win at first, and then after that you lose a whole lot.
yeah,
So we actually wanted, the whole idea is for it to be transparent, and then hopefully we're gonna have a DAO system in the future. So in a sense, you're the business owner, but at the same time, if you're playing, you have to make certain decisions, right? So you can actually play with these percentages, hopefully, on the slot machines. So, we can decrease it so the house wins less or, the participants win more. But obviously you have to find that right balance. So it's not like house is like losing money and all of a sudden, the
yeah,
casino gets drained. And also the same thing, otherwise where always the players get screwed. So
yeah.
at first, obviously, we have to probably control it a little bit, but when that system kind of starts to balance itself out and people see the benefit and it's there, then we would kind of make it like a DAO, so it's controlled by the people, and they'll make the decisions.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, sort of like in the early days when there's not many of the slot machines around or different locations and different metaverses. Like the market's going to be open to abuse for somebody deciding, okay, I'm going to have my slot machine, it's going to have a 40% RTP. Whereas when there's a lot more options, then
Oh, I
the
see. I
people
see what you
doing
mean.
that.
So you mean like a percentage for the payout. So the
Yeah,
percentage for the payout is going to be like set by us, and we'll let you know because it's going to depend on which basically like metaverse you would want to place it in, Because let's say we have a casino that's in BCRC, and then we also have a casino that's, let's say, in Virtua, right?
yeah,
And again, for example, let's say BCRC one is receiving 100x times, the virtual one as far as like the foot traffic.
yeah,
So if you have yours placed there, we're going to give you a lesser, potentially like a lesser percentage. And then again, you would be able to use our tokens to potentially, place yours from one place to another. Like let's say if yours is in virtual and there's still spots available in the BCRC casino, you can pay us a certain fee in tokens and move it there. But percentages could differ because if you're trying to promote the virtual one, you may say, hey, you get like 35% from here, but BCRC one is like, 10%.
yeah.
So it's going to be like a little maybe incentive driven and obviously again where it's at, but yeah.
Okay, but yeah, it's nice to know that you're going to have control behind the scenes on sort of like player percentage payouts and things like that. Because
Yeah, the
obviously,
only time we
it'd
wouldn't
only
is
take
like
one or
when
two
you.
bad actors to grind the name away.
Yeah, exactly. The only time we wouldn't have control is like when we get to the, aspect of you having your own casinos that we build for you and place the slot machines. Because obviously for that one, the idea for you is to be the most profitable by having it on your plot. So we wouldn't control those slot machines. But again, obviously there would be certain rules and regulations that you would have to go by if you do want our backing, our name to be like, there, say it's backed by Cardano Casino
Yeah,
and for us to provide you, ongoing like software maintenance and things like that for your games.
yeah. And would you be providing all the customer support in case of any issues that players may face?
Yeah, exactly. So that would be done by us, and we would actually have to hire, we would have a team specifically that would be like basically like customer support. We would add more teams, so it would be Discord, but also it would be, we don't want everything to, when the platform is up and running, we don't want everything to be like Discord dependent. We want it to be more like integrated on the website because at that point,
Yeah,
again, something may happen to Discord, stuff like that. So a lot of it will be available on Discord, and it would be it would be on the website, and it would be like actual support that you can get from there.
yeah. I mean, are you planning on having like what kind of support do you think you'll be able to provide in the future? Is it just going to be like live chat, or will it be email based only, or would it be possible to even be able to pick up the phone in some cases?
We think at first it's going to be probably like Discord, creating ticket emails, and then after that you will go to like live chats, and then hopefully, obviously, if the project gets big enough and the finances allow us, we would have actual live members that you can get on the phone with and get immediate support, because that becomes necessary when the project gets bigger. There's so much money involved. People are having issues. They want access to their fund, or they have bits or whatever the case may be that didn't go through. And again, obviously, it's going to depend on the problem too. But depending on the priority of that, we are hoping it gets to a level that if it's priority and it's important, you get an actual live person, and depending on the tier, it goes down to live chat, and again, email if it's something that's not super necessary to be answered right then.
So, I mean, another question that I'd kind of like to ask, I don't know whether how much of it you're going to want to answer, but how scary is it, sort of like entering this space? Sort of like, on, crypto, which is having its own host of issues now anyway, but, it's assuming that, it all gets sorted out, metaverses start becoming a real thing, knowing that you've got your MGMs, your Caesars, your poker stars, and everything like that. That was, as soon as you start sort of like making figures that would require financial reporting, will start taking a lot bigger interest.
I mean, it's hard to enter and tap into it, but to be honest with you, we think there's like a lot of potential here, and I think at some point crypto is gonna again become mainstream. It's gonna become a currency that in a sense, like people use and utilize in everyday life, and just gambling in general, like it's something that people do. So I just think if we can basically like find a healthier way and a better system for be able to uh, basically like for people to be able to interact with it and utilize it could be through here. And although again there's a lot of uncertainties, I'm willing to take that risk. And obviously, potentially, partially, you could say even the people investing are taking that risk with us. But I think it's for the better, because in a few years, again, when there's the regulations and stuff, we think there's a lot of opportunity. People, governments start to understand what really crypto is and the opportunities around it, and the fact that it's not just scam in a sense, as some of them say. And they can really see that, say, technology behind it. Honestly, like we think it's just the internet. When you look at the internet, it was banned in the US. If you go look at back, late 1990s, it was even banned, right? You couldn't even use the internet.
I have exactly the same feeling about crypto as you do, in the fact that we're at the same stage as the internet in like the 1990, 1991.
Yeah. But honestly, it's because of the unknowns, right? Because it's like, how do I handle this? There's just like this pool of information that everybody can access. You basically have access to, I'm sorry to say this, but like porn, everything. Like everything is like out there, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do I limit it? Because even right now, like the same questions exist. How do you stop a 14-year-old to, from really going out there and exploring what they can on the internet, right? Like there's only so much limitations it can do. But I think, again, it's just the government's like not necessarily knowing how to handle it yet, but I think it will come. And when it does, then you will have businesses such as Amazon and such as, Uber thriving from that. Because again, Uber right now, you think about it, you rely on somebody on the internet to come pick you up. You don't even know the person. How do you trust them? And sometimes, you're drunk, you're messed up. You rely on that person to get you home. You know what I mean? Like if you think about it, it's like pretty messed up, but that all happens over the internet. Like somebody, you book somebody over the internet, they come pick you up, just a photo over that. Same thing with Amazon. You do most of your shopping through there, and a lot of other ones like Walmart, big plays, now they do their plays on the internet. So that's mainstream now. So we think honestly like Web3 could be the same thing. Again, you have like Cardano with all these cheap transaction fees and such. Again, like I was seeing my friend go do gambling at Vegas, right? He would take out $1,000. Sometimes it would take him a few minutes, sometimes a few hours, and he would lose it, and he would want to go take out some more. But just to take out his own money, he had to pay almost like $70-$80 in fees, because he's doing it at the casino, right?
Yeah.
And just to take out $1,000 and just for you to go. So it's like, why do you have to do that? Like when your transactions here could cost 0.28. So there's like many different benefits and such. But again, everybody has to like really understand it, including obviously the governments first. So it's a few years out, but we think right now could be the right timing to like actually spend the time, develop the system and everything, just so we can make sure it's perfect. So when the right time comes in 3-4 years, whatever that can be, that is, you know, we are ready for it and we can really blow up.
Yeah. So, how well funded are you to get you through the next sort of like 2-3 years? Is especially given the fact that we are in crypto winter, and okay, there's always going to be signs of life in the short term, but realistically, it's likely to last a good while yet.
I mean, as far as what
Like,
we've spent so far, it's not like too much yet. You know, we spent about $10,000-$20,000 on the project, but I do have a backing, which is again my personal savings is about like $1 million that I have. But and I'm willing to, you know, obviously bring it in as much as I can and spend it. But obviously, I have to make sure it's something that grows and we have the
yeah,
community behind it, and then that would be our backing plus whatever comes from the project. Again, we have like the season 1, season 2, the slot machines. We have a card collection that can get released. We also have like a dicey collection that can come with its own benefits if the collection gets big enough.
you see,
So there's
there's
like
the
all
little
these
hint that I
avenues.
was talking about earlier.
Yeah. So there's
Because
all
that's one of
these
those
different
ones that you
collections.
weren't going to mention about, I'm sure.
So these are all the other collections that you can actually get and get benefits from that would complete the whole casino feel and experience. Plus, obviously our tokenomics, the generation from you coming to us and wanting to generate all these different assets and things of that nature, and obviously other royalties that come with all these collections, because our team is not going to take all the royalties. About 50-60% from every collection goes back to the project. We invested into again
Yeah.
tourneys, uh, future development, whatever the case may be. And that also goes for the funding that comes in. For the funding, we don't, as a team, we don't take a whole lot of it. We put actually like almost like for the first one, it's a little less, it's about 50-60%. But for the rest, we put almost like 60-75% of it back into the project as far as like whatever that needs to be done for that. So like we're not really here again. It is the bear market, so we're not really here necessarily to make money, because you can't even make a whole lot of money if you're being honest. So you're not here to just take people's money and just disappear. It's not very beneficial during this time, even if that was the plan. We are here to actually like we want to build during this time to show that we are here to stay. What the money wasn't really the incentive. Like
Yeah.
we'll build during the time that stuff is down.
Yeah, it's just good to know that there's extra funds available for when you need it, especially when you're looking at marketing and things like that, because the
We're not
budgets for
going to be
that need to
relying
be
on.
yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to be relying on the collection, but again, we're hoping as the collection gets more attention and stuff, because you're seeing a lot of other collections, you could sometimes even argue with less quality. They're asking for a lot more money, or they're, going by dollar amounts, at least charging like 100,
Yeah.
200 ADA for these, 2Ds or very basic art. So we don't, basically like we want to get the community to get that level, and then obviously based on the quality of our stuff, it gives us an opportunity maybe for our season 2 to release that at, maybe 100 ADA, 150 ADA, again depending on how strong the community is, how much the floor gets pushed up and people see the value, right? It gives us opportunity to bring in more money and funding for the project too, and obviously give back to the people.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like obviously I run the calendar for tools, and sort of like some of the feedback that I get occasionally when projects list their prices in dollars rather than ADA, and then they're like, we'll it's going to be $100, and then we'll set that ADA amount the day before, and it doesn't give the feeling that the project is invested in Cardano in general.
Honestly, I just think we are in crypto. I just don't like the concept of, even if it's something that you just say, what this is the cost in ADA because of this and that. I just don't like the dollar equivalent. We have to see what the fluctuation is, that then stuff, because we're all in crypto. Like imagine how should the investor feel then? Sometimes, they pay in ADA. So should they be like, well, today it could be 48 cents, tomorrow is 52 cents. So can you guys release on today since it's 48 cents? So I can, like it's just, like there's so much unknown. Like you can't do that to people. At the end of the day, I think this is starting to be a business. It's almost like by you buying these NFTs, although legally, you can't really put that out there. It's almost like buying stocks. Like you're investing in these projects. So like, we have to make sure we give the same feeling back to you, and we show, that there's something like we are a company.
Yeah, definitely 188 is 188, not 37
exactly.
cents or $3.22.73 or whatever.
Exactly. So everything we planned was based off of, the ADA value. As of current, even when the market started crashing, we discussed it with the team. We decided that we didn't need to change those, numbers. We even cut back from our own, cuts just to make sure we don't have to do anything. Because again, it wasn't really about money for us, and we have money to input,
Yeah.
into the project. So we just wanted to make sure the project
Yeah,
survives.
that's. I mean, because there's so many things that go to setting a mint price, especially for a project like yours. Because it's like you still want to keep it accessible and affordable and everything like that to people, but it also has to be enough that people give a shit.
Exactly. And again, for us, the branding is, again, at the beginning is a little hard too, gambling, stuff like that. So we
Yeah,
actually have to show some things. So we wanted to make sure people get the right entry, the prices are right, the arts. Again, what Mac has done is like, I think is amazing as far as art and how much you're paying for it, 58 for that art, let alone. I think it's like worth a lot. Plus obviously all the other utility. But yeah, we just wanted to make sure people get a good entry point and, we can grow it together and like make more people aware of it.
yeah, very nice. So, um, just give everybody a final chance to ask any questions that may have popped up. I'm hoping that we've covered just about everything so far anyway. Sort of like the people that have joined have all stayed and seem to have been listening and interacting quite nicely. So thank you all for that, guys. It's very much appreciated. But yeah, if you've got any questions, either post them in the NFT chat or we've only I recognise most of the names here. So if you want to pop on and say hello in voice and ask any questions in voice, stick your hand up. See, there'll always be an awkward silence while we wait to see if people start typing or put their hands up now and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, don't feel shy. You can just come on in and ask.
Yeah. And yeah, then we can have the moment where we realise, well, actually, I might have actually done my job fairly well and asked all the questions that people are hoping to ask anyway.
Yep, that could be it too. But I mean, I would just say like thank you for giving us the opportunity, to come here. I really appreciate you like, noticing us. I know our community is not like super big, but just you noticing us and giving us this opportunity, I'm thankful for. And everybody that's tuned in, like there's a lot of people actually from our community here, from your guys' community here. So I'm thankful for you guys like spending the time to listen to us as well.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll definitely have to have you back when things have moved on to the next stage. I'm sure.
For sure, we'll be more than happy to be here and show that again, we're here to stay. We'll update you on all the progresses and everything. And honestly, I think this way is easier. I would actually love to come on Twitter Spaces, AMAs and such. Sometimes it's just hard to coordinate it. And again, as you know, some people are shy. The timings don't work out well. But that's why we use Discord, put something there that stays there as an announcement. But I would rather have the feeling of talking to somebody, let them really know, hey, this is what we are working on now. We are at this stage for this and that. I think it's just, in the voice chat, it's just easier. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree, and it's part of why I'm doing it here. But yeah, this is being recorded for YouTube as well. So if you're watching this back on YouTube, feel free to give it a like and a share. And if you're feeling particularly generous, I'd rather like if you subscribe as well. But yeah, make sure you check out the links below. I'll have all the links to both cnft.tools and Cardano Casino. Make sure you pop into the Discord and ask any questions that you may fancy. Check out the project and chill and chat with people.
Yeah. Thank you so much again
Yeah,
for the opportunity.
yeah. Thank you everyone for turning up, and hope you all have a great evening.
Hope you guys have a
You
fantastic
guys
day.
all
Then see
take
you
care.
guys, man. All right.
Cheerio.